Hi, Rabbi in the kitchen. I'm working on a Korean Shabbat meal. It's going to be Shabbat lunch, so I'm hard at work in the kitchen. Pretty much any Korean meal needs a few essentials. One of them is rice. Another is kimchi, pickles of all kinds of vegetables, most commonly used, most commonly known is made of Napa cabbages. And then there are going to be what we call panchan, or side dishes. Sometimes an entire meal could be made up of rice, kimchi, and panchan, rice, kimchi, and side dishes. And among these side dishes are namul, blanched or steamed and seasoned vegetable dishes, which are really delicious, and it really adds a lot of variety. Just a little bit of this, a little bit of that, that you can put on top of your rice. I'm going to be making shigimchi namul, spinach, pre-washed. Kong namul, made out of soybean sprouts. Gaji namul, made out of eggplants. Hobang namul, made out of summer squash, often combined with zucchini. Now, to make this namul, there are slight variations on the different seasonings, the different sauces, but the basics for all of them include garlic, 1 clove for each vegetable dish maybe. It's going to be minced finely or crushed. Some soy sauce and some sesame oil. Now with the soy sauce and the sesame oil, this is where a kosher keeping cook is going to have to unfortunately change a little bit from a more traditional flavor, because of the simple fact that there are Japanese brands of sesame oil, like Kadoya, which has kosher certification, and Sanjay versions of Sanjay and other brands of soy sauce, which have a slightly different taste from Korean soy sauce. Kanjang, is a byproduct of another Korean essential, which I'm not going to get into right now, and it doesn't come with kosher certification, unfortunately. The closest Japanese equivalent with kosher certification is tamari. Sanjay brand makes tamari. So this will not be the exact taste that a Korean guest might be looking for, but it will be hopefully close enough, and it'll absolutely be delicious. So let's get started. So what you see here are the basic ingredients for any yangnyeom, which is a seasoning for any namul, or vegetable side dish. We've got garlic, green onions, soy sauce, and sesame oil. Now, for the sake of variety, we could add a thing here or two just for, to one or the other side dish, but these are the basics. I'm grating them to a pulp, letting the juices come out. If you crush or grate your garlic, that'll release the juices. Add the green onions. 2 should be enough. We don't need a lot. And we're going to chop this very, very thinly. We've got a lot of green onion leaves left over. That's fine. We don't need the entire thing. Add this to the bowl. Now for each vegetable dish, for each specific vegetable namul, you should use about a tablespoon of sesame oil and of soy sauce. That's about what I've got left, so here it all goes. Mix it up either by hand or with a chopstick or a spoon. So this is the yangnyeom. This is going to be the dressing for our namul. To make shigimchi namul, and to make a pretty good substantial amount, you need 1 pound to 2 pounds of spinach, because it reduces quite a bit, and we're going to squeeze it after we cook it. So here's the pre-washed spinach. It's going to go in a pot of boiling water for about 2 minutes. Not a whole lot, just until the color gets slightly brighter, a slightly brighter green. If you're going to be making many namul in one pot of water, it's a good idea not necessarily to start with the spinach as I did, because, well, the oxalic acid in the spinach will leach into the water, and the oxalic acid is something which prevents the body from absorbing the iron in the spinach. And it's nice and soft. You can still see some places where the original color of the spinach is there. That's fine. You don't want this to be absolute mush. So we're going to drain this and cool it. The spinach has been drained, and we're going to immediately put this into a bowl of cold water to stop it from cooking. Just kind of cup some of it between your hands and just press. You see a sort of a brownish, greenish liquid come out. Just keep doing that. It's true we lose some of the vitamins and minerals along with it, but we also make whatever minerals and vitamins are left in the spinach more bioavailable. Easier for our bodies to absorb. Here's the drained and blanched and cooled spinach. Add some of this yang, just about a spoonful, maybe a tablespoon's worth. Mix it through. If you're a little nervous about the raw garlic, don't worry about it if it's something that you're serving the next day. The sharpness of the garlic would sort of subside by then. But Korean food is pretty rich in garlic. Here we have shigimchi namul, seasoned spinach, as a side dish to any Korean meal. Often this might be sprinkled with toasted sesame seeds. Some people might garnish it with a few threads of dried hot pepper called shilgochu. But again, this is the basic. This is shigimchi namul. Thanks. Using the same water that I've got boiling for all of our namul, for all of our vegetable side dishes, I'm going to make kong namul, soybean sprouts. Using the strainer for our double boiling pasta pot. Rinse. There aren't a lot of places for bugs to hide in the sprouts. We've drained the soybean sprouts, cooling them off. They've gotten a little bit soft, a little bit limp. Not completely mushy, but a little bit limp. So it might take a little bit longer than 2 to 3 minutes to cook them, depending on the beans and depending on a lot of things. So now we're going to put these in a container to store them. And then add the yangnyeom. Yangnyeom. Good spoonful of this. Mix it around. Now for the other two kind of namul which I'm trying to prepare today, gaji namul, eggplant, and hobak namul, summer squash, it's going to be done a little bit differently. We're going to steam them rather than boil them. Starting with gaji namul. Cut off the heads. Put them in the compost. I always have a pot or a bowl on the side to collect my compost. And then we're going to quarter them. Let's say we're going to eighth them. going to put this in a steamer. I've still got that same pot of water boiling that we had for the spinach and for the soybean sprouts. So now the eggplants are going to go and get steamed over the pot. Now while I've got the eggplant steaming, I'm going to get to work on hobak, on the summer squash. Peel off the stickers, wash them first. There are a couple ways that people like to cut up the summer squash and the zucchini. Some people like to julienne them into strips. There's another way that people like to do it, much simpler. Just slice them diagonally, make little medallions. They'll come out just as nicely, and this is about as common in Korea. Now the eggplants, when they're done, aren't going to look any different. You're going to have to sort of poke them with a pair of cooking chopsticks. And you see these little indentations that I'm making. It's very, very soft. That means it's ready to come out. Now that these eggplants have come out of the pot, and they've been run under cool water, and they're cool to the touch now, we're going to squeeze them just a little bit, sort of like we did with the spinach, but not as much. Add the nyangyum. About 2 spoonfuls. Mix it in, really massage it in. Let the eggplants absorb the flavor. And the fourth and last namul that we're going to be preparing today is hobak namul. So here are the sliced summer squashes and zucchinis. They're going into the steamer. The summer squash and the zucchini have been steamed, they've been cooled, and they're being mixed with yangyum. They could be a bit fragile, so they break a bit when they're being mixed. But that's okay. 4 different vegetable side dishes, 4 different panchan, namul, hobak namul, kong namul, shigimchi namul, gaji namul.